Welcome back, boys and girls. I'm Mr. Albrecht, and this is going to be skills. We're still in Unit 2, but we're going to do some practice pages together today. So make sure you have your workbook, and today you're going to need some crayons. So keep your crayons nearby as we get into our lesson. We're going to be working today on targeted vowel sounds and spellings. So we want to make sure we're listening carefully to those vowel sounds that we hear in our words. Today's learning targets are going to be able to recognize the separated digraph that makes that long vowel sound. So you're going to see that in some of the activities we do today, as well as being able to hear the sounds in the words that you write. And that's a skill we kind of always have to do, especially when we're learning to write out these words and we're listening to the sounds they make so that we spell them correctly. All right, boys and girls, take a look in your workbooks and look in the very back of the workbook. Look for PP7 up in the top right corner, and it's going to be a cool fall picture of a pumpkin that we have here. And we're going to get to color this today, but we have some rules to how to color it. And if you look at the very top of the right-hand corner there, it's going to tell you to color the long A sound brown and the long I sound orange. So we want to make sure that we follow those directions so that our pumpkin turns out to look like a nice fall picture. However, Mr. Albrecht, when I looked in my crayon box, found that I don't have just those colors, so I'm going to have to go with what I have. And I have sort of a burnt orange here, and I have a kind of a yellowish color there. So I'll probably kind of use those as we can. If you forget, if you get to this page and you forget, what did Mr. Albrecht say? Turn your book sideways, and the directions are right along the spine of your book. You might have to pull your book apart a little bit and look down into that spine of your book. And it reads right there that we're going to color the long A sounds brown. So we're going to read each word out loud. So I'm going to pick that burnt umber brown there. All right, let's look at the first section and read the first word right here. It says sunshine. Sunshine. So I do here, I'm looking for two vowel sounds. I'm looking for either the A, long A made with the separated digraph, or I'm looking for the long I made with the separated digraph. Well, in this word, I hear a long I, correct. So in long I, it says for us to color those into the orange color. Well, Mr. Albrecht doesn't really have an orange, so he's going to pick sort of this yellowish color that's close to orange. And I'm going to just color in that section to make sure that I show my pumpkin nice and full. Take your time, no rush. You can always pause the video and come back to it. And we were just going to color that in. You might even want to leave the word if your crayon is real dark color, orange. Mine's not kind of light, but I could leave that word showing so that I can see what word it was when I go back to review this, okay? So I've got a nice color there, sunshine. Let's look at another one. Let's look at one inside one of our triangles here, okay? So let's look at snake skin. Ugh. Snake skin. What sound do I hear in that? I do. I hear a long A. Look at the first word in that compound word, snake, skin, and you hear that long A. Again, if you took the skin away, you would just have snake. So you have that separated digraph of A, consonant E. So that color, we said, was going to be brown. So I'm going to switch out to my brown color, or orange. For my case, it's kind of like an orangish brown. And I'm going to color that in. Oops, I colored over my word. That's okay if you do. Okay, and look at the word right next to it, mistake. Mistake, again, long A, made with that separated digraph, E, that magic E on the end. So we go ahead and color that one in too. Do it again. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea of how that's going to do. All right, boys and girls, I've got you started here, and we're going to look for the rest of the words and listen for the sounds in the words, okay? Listen for that long A or that long I. Color them the right color according to your directions. Don't forget, color your leaves and your stem to make it look finished. So pause the video here, and when you get done, you can come back and see what I've been able to do. All right, boys and girls, welcome back. Look what I was able to do while you were working on yours. You might have done yours a little bit better than mine, though. You have good crayons and paper. Mine's a little bit different doing it on a digital screen like this. But hopefully you were able to look at those words and look carefully at the sound they were making each time you colored it. And if you got it right, your pumpkins will look similar to mine, but again, probably better. All right, let's keep moving. We get to do some more coloring. That's cool. Okay, and so we're going to take this picture now, but we're going to look at two different sounds. Same idea. We're going to look at the words in this picture, but now we're looking for the O, that long O sound, and we're going to color that light brown. And the spaces that you hear the long U sound, we're going to color blue. Okay, so now you might want to switch out your crayons from your crayon box. This is going to be found on practice page 12. Practice page 12. So look in your books and find that one. All right, boys and girls, let's get our crayons ready. And again, we're looking for a light brown. Mr. Albrecht may not have that, but we'll see what I have. And blue. And so this is a new picture. And now we're going to read the first word and we're going to figure out, does it have the long O sound to be light brown, or does it have the long U sound and does it need to be blue? Okay, so let's take a look at the first top corner. I like to start at the top. And the top says the word confuse. Confuse. So when we look at that word, do we hear the O, long O, or do we hear the long U sound? I hear that long U sound in that second syllable, again, made with the separated digraph, U consonant E. So let's grab the light blue, some kind of blue that you have in your crayon box. I'm going to check mine over here and see which ones I have. I have some good blues, so I'm going to pick this blue here. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to color in that box. Whoops, got some squeaking going on. And again, if you can, try to leave your word open so you can kind of see it, because if you picked a nice dark blue, you might color right over that word. All right. So now we have our first long U word colored in blue. So we look at another one. Let's just pick another one. Let's go way over here and see if it's something different. Oh, I see this word here. Flute. Flute. Oh, okay. So again, I hear that long U. So I keep my blue crayon and I'm trying to see what this picture is going to be. So I'm coloring along the edges first. Sometimes that kind of helps. And then you can quickly fill it in. All right, now let's look at another word down at the bottom. Let's just pick a different one. Let's pick this one right in the middle. How's that? Backbone. Backbone. Do I hear a long U or a long O? That's right, bone, you hear the long O sound made again, separated digraph. We have the O consonant E. All right, so that one is a light brown, so I'm going to switch out my crayon. And again, I don't really have a light brown, so I'm just going to pick that kind of like that dark yellow. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to color right below that what looks like might be a tail to me. And I'm going to go around my box. And then I can fill it in. All right, boys and girls, we have colored in a few to get you started. So I want you to go ahead and finish out the sheet on your own, making sure you read each word carefully, listening for that long O or that long U sound, and then pick the right color to color it in. When you come back, you'll get to see what Mr. Albrecht was able to get done. See you in just a few minutes. Welcome back, boys and girls. Now, take a look and see if your picture looks similar to mine. You probably, again, did a better job than I did. You've got crayons or markers, and that's a lot easier than doing it with this stylus that I'm using on the digital board here. But again, looking at kind of like what we noticed at the top, we had a lot of U, long U words, so that gave us a nice, pretty deep blue sky. And then at the bottom, we have what looks like a fence that this cat is sitting on, maybe enjoying a nice evening out with looking for some mice, okay? So we think about these words and we think about those spellings as we write them. So if you hear that long U or you hear that long O, think about how that sound is being made in the word as you write it, okay? All right, let's move on. Let's look now at practice page 23, and we're going to practice some R-controlled vowels, okay? R-controlled vowels, we've got to know those, and we've got to think about when we're looking at these words in this top box, we're going to be reading aloud each word carefully again to ourselves as well. And even if I'm reading it at home, I want you to read the word aloud at home and listen carefully for that R-controlled vowel sound that you hear, okay? Then we're going to write the word under that correct sample word. So you're looking at practice page 23 that contains the same R-controlled vowel. So I'm going to show you a big copy here in just a minute, but you can kind of see how it's set up. Then we're going to circle the R-controlled vowel team. So let's take a look. We have a big box of words up here at the top. So let's read through these, and I want you to read them at home after I read them, okay? So here we go. We're going to go right across the top first. North, letter, garlic, morning, better. Okay, good. I think I'm hearing some good sounds and R sounds out there. Next row, car, porch, cartoon, ladder, swimmer. Good job. All right, last row, short, far, river, form, garden. Nice work. Okay, so now we've listened to ourselves read these words. Now we're going to read them again because we're going to have to sort them. We're going to have to think, what sound am I hearing? So I'm going to help you get started on this. And then again, we're going to pause the video and let you work on your own, and then you can come back to the video and check it. So let's get started on a few of them. So if we look at this first one, we're looking at the ER sound as in the word her. So we're going to hear this as okay? So when we look at these words, if we find a word that sounds like it goes here. If we have AR as in car, where you're listening for R sound, again, looking at these words, if we find one that sounds like R and is in car, it goes here. And last but not least is our OR, as in for. So again, read through the word out loud so that you hear the OR sound. If you hear the OR sound, it's going to go in this column, okay? All right, so let's take the first one together, and let's look at the word north, okay? So I say that word north, I think about what I hear, and I hear an OR sound, right? So again, I come back down here and I think about R, or OR. So we're going to take north then and put it under for. So just write north in your nice, neat handwriting. And remember, the last thing we need to do on each of these is to circle the R-controlled vowels, okay? So when we look at that, we're going to say we're making it with the OR, so that's why we put it under for, okay? Let's look at the next word, letter. So again, I'm listening, I say letter, and I go back here and I go her, car, or for. I hear it, don't I? I hear it in her. Letter goes under her. So I write letter here. And last thing you need to do to that is to circle that R controlled so that you see, that's why you put it under her. All right, so I've helped you get started. The tip I would give you is as you're writing the words down here into the columns, go ahead and just put a nice line, clean line through it, meaning that you've put that word down here already. So I'm going to let you pause the video here. You go ahead and finish it up and come back and see me in a few minutes and check your work. All right, boys and girls, welcome back. Take a look at the finished version I have here on my screen. Check your work against it. I'm going to read through them. You have your pencil in your hand, and you can check along with me. So we're going to look under the word her, okay? So you should have the word letter, better, ladder, swimmer, and river under the her column. And each one of those have that ER circle because that's your R-controlled vowel. All right, let's look at the word under car, under the R sound. We have the word garlic, car, cartoon, far, and garden. Again, each time have that AR circle because that's your R-controlled vowel. And the last column is the word under for. Let's check that one. North, we had done that one, right? Morning, porch, short, and form. Again, circling the ORs as those are our R-controlled vowels. So hopefully you did a great job on this and you're able to identify these sounds of being controlled by that R, these R-controlled vowels. Good practice, right? All right, so our learning targets today were to be able to recognize that separated digraph, making that long vowel sound. We practiced that in our coloring pictures. And then also to be able to hear the sounds in the words I write. And you practice that a lot with your OR and your R and your sound on the last worksheet we did together. So I look forward to seeing you next time where we're going to do some more practice together. So have your workbooks ready to go. Bye-bye.